my name's Toby and I like to speak to interesting people about interesting things. And today I'm speaking to Akash, who is the head of technical marketing and client insights for Discovery Bank. Hello, Akash.
Hi, Toby.
What is technical marketing? How does it differ from marketing?
I get this question a lot, especially from my children who actually have no idea what it is. When you find out, let me know.
I'll be sure.
But what I think it is what we try to do is bridge the gap between product and marketing. So based on like all of the technical details of the product, we also bring in analytics to try to understand how clients behave. And we're essentially, the best way I describe it to people that join Discovery Bank is we're the voice of the customer inside the bank and the voice of the bank outside to our customers.
I mean, it is a data-driven business, Discovery in every essence. But I mean, you've taken that a bit to the next level with Discovery Bank.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, I think with Discovery Bank and being a digital bank, the number one currency for us is data. But to use that data to help our clients improve their lives. And I think the benefits we have now with a smartphone really is the magical device that you have in your hand.
Magic's a good word. It's the computer of today.
Absolutely. And we can use that technology now to basically integrate all of these different features, pull information that clients would typically have to take days to collate from all of their different financial institutions, bring it together to help them have a single view of their finances and then help them improve them.
Their financial fitness. I am a Discovery Bank client. I had a really remarkable experience with Apple Pay. I got to the Craigle Spa. I'd forgotten my wallet at home. I took out my phone to try and draw money from the ATM, and bang, it just popped up and paid. And that was like really magical. I kind of felt a little like naive and childish, being so amazed by it. But it is amazing. I'm insanely paranoid about cybersecurity, and I'm a pre-COVID germaphobe. So, the fact that I don't have to touch the point-of-sale terminal, no one can see me put my PIN code in, I'm just using it. I mean, the funny thing, I'm sure you've noticed this as well, all contactless payment, people still touch their phone to the device, even though they only have to be a couple of centimeters away.
No, absolutely. I mean, you literally have to graze it past. But I think what we've seen now with the contactless payment is as soon as a client loads on a virtual card or loads on Apple Pay, they pretty much continuously use it and hardly ever take out their cards from their wallets anymore. I think the only time our clients take out their cards now is to show the security at the fast track to be able to be let into the airport.
I think that's a very clever incentive. I have to say that's a really, because the way the world works is around incentives. Like you're standing in that queue at the airport, you're like, I could be ghosting through the queue.
For us, travel is amazing because for us, it gives us the best of both worlds. Not only is it an amazing incentive that gets clients to actually do things differently, improve their finances, save more, or even go for a run, but it actually, the act of travel or being on a holiday is great for your mental well-being.
Great. I mean, I can confirm that, like going on a holiday, you just come back refreshed, renewed. We just didn't do that for 2 years,
And we are really seeing at the moment, I mean, what everyone's terming revenge travel. We've seen
that hilarious? I love that. I love that we live in the world where we have the phrase revenge travel, and it's a good thing. How often is revenge not a good thing?
Absolutely. And we just see the hunger for people to actually just go out there and travel is amazing. I mean, we've seen flight bookings increase 3-4 times on a monthly basis. So you really see an increase in the desire to travel. And thankfully, we're making people's lives easier and helping them to travel.
And the desire to travel cheaper. I mean, you offer pretty good discounts. I haven't bought a plane ticket very often in the last year, but I've gotten better prices when I've gone through the Vitality portal.
Look, I think it was fortuitous that we actually built that platform because our aim was to actually, exactly to your point, make travel and make the travel booking process as easy and simple as possible. And it was largely driven by the architecture of the bank, because we have the payment rails, we have the ability to create a secure infrastructure for our clients. And we built a travel platform and expanded our travel network. So our clients now can fly anywhere in South Africa using any airline and get discounts on them.
The great thing about travel is it really does expand your mind. I was very lucky as a kid. My father was born in Paris. I've got lots of family who lives in London and Europe, and we used to go visit my family. The first trip I went on was 5 years old. I still like airline food because of that. Or it really is just the most wonderful thing to do.
My daughter loves airline food. I mean, we could be on a flight at 11 p.m. at night and we'd be like, don't you want to go to sleep? But no, I need to wait for them to serve me airline food. So I think it's definitely a thing, but we always use this phrase in the bank where we say that travel expands the mind and feeds the soul.
Yeah.
Which, like for me, is just encompasses what we feel travel does for people.
It is a really interesting insight because it shows you about other cultures, other people, other food is my favorite thing.
Oh, yeah.
It really is the best thing. When we were 22, my best friend's mother said to us, if money was no object, what would you do in life? And my answer was, I'd travel more. So I put on a backpack and off I went and saw the world. And luckily I'm in a career that involves a lot of travel. But it is truly one of the great gifts of living on such an amazing planet.
Oh, absolutely. And I've found more than anything else, it makes me feel more grateful, but also appreciative of what we have here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the criticism are for people that don't travel, but actually South Africa is an amazing country. Incredible. And the people are amazing.
Yeah. And the food.
And the food. And the food.
So building is something like Discovery Bank. I mean, it's been a multi-year process. I mean, it's quite a thing. You've built a pretty good digital bank. You've won a whole bunch of awards and you still don't have any branches. Well done.
And I think, like we said, it's down to the phone, right? If you think about the ability to set up branches across the world, across the country, the number of ATMs you need if you need ATMs, but you don't need any of that anymore. All you need is the smartphone. And the smartphone can give you, if you think about it, better service that's 24/7 at a cheaper price point with a much better user interface. The example I always tell people is, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, if you wanted bank statements, you took some time off work, you went to a bank branch, stood in your line, got to the front, the lovely lady there, hopefully she was lovely at that point and she was polite. They print them for you, they stamp them with this very official looking stamp.
Yes.
And they charge you quite a lot of money for them and they give it to you and then you go. And look, Lord forbid if you have to go back.
Yeah.
Right. It's quite a process. Now at 2:00 in the morning, you can open up your bank app. You can download stamped statements immediately for free.
Yeah.
So it's like having a private banker in your pocket.
Yeah, I agree because it's a self-service service in an age of being self-service.
Absolutely. And look, in many ways, COVID has actually accelerated that process. Pre-COVID, you had a bit of a dichotomy where some of your older folks would actually prefer going to the branch because they perceived it to be more secure. They perceived it to a process that they knew.
I think it was a habit.
It was a habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every Saturday you went to the bank branch, right?
Yeah.
And what we've seen post-COVID is that there's as high an affinity for people over the age of 60, as an example, to use digital banking as they are for young digitally savvy folk. So we really see people saying, oh, actually, why do I need to do that when I can do it on my phone? I can do it immediately. And the information available to me is better and is displayed in a way that I never thought possible before. It just makes the entire banking experience better.
It was one of the unintended consequences of COVID, wasn't it? That people had to upskill themselves because they couldn't call their grandchild or their kid or, so people, my experience is that people don't want to be seen as being stupid or not knowing how to do something, so they don't and they stick to what they know. But all of a sudden, you couldn't ask anyone else for help and you had to overcome that barrier of fear. And so many people have gone through that at so many different age limits. The kinds of questions we get asked at stuff are very different. They're no longer, how do I do it? How do I finesse it to do it X, Y, and Z? It's an unintended consequence of a horrible pandemic. But it's allowed so many people to, I suppose, trust themselves and trust that the technology works.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the challenge that we have when we develop this technology and when we develop these new services and any new thing we take out to the market is taking all of that complexity, in terms of the security, the transaction rails that you need to use, the different systems you need to integrate with, the different partners you may need to integrate with in order to deliver a specific service, and putting it together in a way that for a client seems just so simple, so intuitive that you almost need to anticipate what would be the next thing a client would want to do, and then build your app like that. And for us as a bank, when we first built the bank app, the first version of the app is unrecognizable to what the app looks like now. We actually redesigned the entire thing 6 months in because we realized getting that seamless customer experience, you shouldn't have to ask to do something. You shouldn't have to have an extra step if you don't need it. You shouldn't have an extra tick or a tap that you don't need.
I use a lot of different banking apps. I try them out. The bank I generally use, it may have gone through a recent rebranding, my primary bank. I like extra taps, and they're not necessary. Within the space of a couple of minutes, I set up an app. Sure, I have an existing relationship with Discovery, but it was such a slick onboarding and experience. It was really great. And then the next experience I had was like magic of Apple Pay. You guys are coming up with your own Discovery Pay.
Yeah, so Discovery Pay for us is now taking all of the payment functionality that you see in the bank and expanding it and integrating the rest of Discovery. It's integrating with all our healthcare providers. So you never have that little wire box when you leave the pharmacy that you have to pay at the till. We actually integrate all of that on the back end for a client. They go in, they pick up their medication. We know that they're a Discovery Bank client because they've activated HealthPay. And we seamlessly in the back end decide how much needs to go off your medical aid, how much needs to go off your gap cover, how much needs to go off your bank account. It's all reconciled, it's in your app, and you just walk in and you walk out. That's just the way
I worry about how many of those cable ties get used every day. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's going to end up in the ocean. So yeah, great. Exactly. Damn it, why are you trying to save the planet as well as make people healthy and fit and save more money for their retirement? Now you want to save the bloody planet as well.
Well, they need a planet to live in when they live longer and have the money to travel.
Indeed. Akash, thank you. Great interview, and keep on traveling. Keep on keeping people traveling. The world is a better place when everyone's more open-minded.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed this, Toby.
Cheers.
Thank
you for watching. My name's Toby Shapshak. We've been speaking to Akash Dowra from Discovery Bank, and as soon as I find out what technical marketing is, I'm going to tell you, and I expect the same.